At what age do you want to have the option to work or not work? Nobody really think that far.
Mhm.
At what age do you want to work or not work? To have the option to work or not work? Because if you don't invest in real estate, you don't have an option. You got to keep running on this treadmill until you're old and die. I love what Warren Buffett says. If you don't find a way to make money while you're asleep, you're going to work until you die.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. Today, I am super excited because I got someone who's got an inspiring story, someone who's doing big things in the real estate space. He's been in the game for quite some time. I got my man, Thach Nguyen. Thach, welcome to the show, brother.
Come on, baby. We're in San Diego, baby.
Yeah,
We're in
that's
San
right,
Diego.
man. We are in San Diego, and we are ripping. You brought your whole entourage out here. We got a little audience.
Come on, man.
And,
you know, I roll with like a posse. You know, this is like the new version of MC Hammer.
I like it, man. I like it, dude. So you came down from Seattle.
Yep.
And you're going to be hosting a meetup tonight, and then you mentioned you're going to go up the coast to Newport Beach. I heard on a podcast that Newport Beach is a place that you want to move to at some point.
Yeah, you know, I go there like probably 5 times a year. I have it's like a timeshare condo, like a townhouse that I own in Newport Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I almost bought a house up there a couple of times, but I figure I don't go there enough. You know, to spend $5 million on a house, you got to put down, 50%. I mean, it's better off I just go Airbnb one whenever I need it. So it's way more cheaper.
Yeah. So what do you do with that place when you're not using it?
It's just getting service through the hotel service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So whenever I need it, I just book it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Newport Beach, the peninsula. Good vibes. The weather's good there. You got the harbor on one side, and then you got the ocean on the other side. I had Tariq Musa on the podcast. He's got a place right there in the peninsula, right in the heart of like all the action.
Yeah.
Cool spot there, man. But I could see myself living up there one day.
Yeah. The thing is, here's how I looked at it. When I was younger, I just turned 54 here a couple weeks ago, right? Of course, my ego was like, I'm gonna buy me a spot in Newport Beach so I can say I have a spot down there. Whenever I go down there, I can chill. But then I asked myself realistically, how often do I actually go down there? If I go down there 4 times a year, I'm only spending 5-6 days. It doesn't really add up to
it doesn't make sense.
$3-5 million, right? And so I just got this timeshare. Whenever I need it, I use it. But every time I go down with my family, then I always rent me a nice fat Airbnb house. You know what I mean? Right by the water. So my older kid, Russell, is a senior. And then my second oldest is a sophomore. When they both be in college, which is 3 years from now, then Cammy and we will probably just rent like a nice house in Newport for like 3 months during the winter. And then maybe 2 or 3 months in Tokyo, couple months in Singapore. In the summer, we're in Seattle. And we just gonna hop and just live and work just out and about.
Will you always have a home in Seattle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because my whole family's in Seattle.
And your business is there?
My business is in Seattle.
How many employees do you have now?
Well, my wife and I have my wife's sister, Dorothy. She's Cammy's assistant.
Okay.
And then for me, I have Lorenz, who handle all the social media, and that's it. That's my whole entire company.
Really? Damn,
I
you're
know.
lean, bro.
I know. One of my core values is simplicity.
Yeah.
And so I like to have abundance and I like to have simplicity at the same time. So,
Mhm.
who want to make a lot of money and then run around with no peace of mind and be hectic?
Yeah. Because, I follow you on social media, and on social media, it looks like you're fucking busy. It looks like you got a big-ass team, too, because you're cranking the content.
Yeah, we're busy, but the rest of the people that work with us are people we hire.
Yeah.
Like my general contractor, right, who built houses for me.
Yeah.
We hired them.
They're third-party vendors.
Yeah, they're party vendors. But on payroll, Cammy's sister, Lorenz, is on payroll for me.
Damn.
I
So
know.
it's just basically you and 2 others.
That's it, bro.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm shocked.
And we make all our video off the iPhone. That's a whole equipment.
Wow. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, man. So who manages all your properties? You use third party?
My brother-in-law and his wife, and so they're technically a third party. We just pay them basically to manage it for us.
Okay.
But their family,
Yeah, gotcha.
like that.
Dude, I love your story and your background, man. But before we jump into it, just give us a snapshot of what you currently own today, real estate wise.
Yep. Today, I own probably close to 100 single-family houses, all in the heart of Seattle. It's like the heart of San Diego. And then I own probably 200, 300 units of apartment buildings. And and a couple small like commercial buildings, but most of it's in single family and in apartment building, and I own pretty much all myself.
Yeah. And I think what's unique about your story is that you grew up in Vietnam,
That's right.
and you grew up lower class, not a lot of money, correct?
Below lower class.
Yeah. Poverty, really.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
What age did you move out here?
I came to U.S. with my family when I was 5 years old.
What was that like? Because I heard on a podcast that you said that you guys were put up in Camp Pendleton
That's right.
to begin with.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So my dad worked for the U.S. military as a translator in Vietnam during the war. And so when the communists decided to invade South Vietnam in April of 1975, then that's when the U.S. troop decided to pull out. And they told my dad, you should actually come with us, because when the communist comes in, anybody that is American, work for the military, Vietnamese people working for the military, U.S. military, they're probably going to capture you and put you in prison, or they're going to kill you. And so my dad was like, okay, well, I guess we got to go. And so I was 5. I have 4 brothers. My mom was pregnant, my sister. My mom was 29. My dad was 34 at the time.
Damn, young.
And young, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Think about that, right?
Yeah.
And my dad called home and says, hey, the U.S. troop is pulling out, and we're going to go with them. So I'm going to come home in a couple hours, pack your bags, and get the kids, and we're going to go to U.S.
Mhm.
And it was during lunchtime, my mom
You guys
said.
took a boat or what?
No. So we got into the car, man. We drove up to the airport. We missed the last plane, and we finally got into Saigon, and we got a hold of my dad got a hold of his boss, and he said, well, we got one last plane leaving out, right, for all the military. So make sure you guys don't miss it. And so we bunked up in a hotel. My dad slept in the Jeep because he didn't want nobody to steal the Jeep. And the next day we met everybody at this gas station, and we got in this U-Haul truck, and everybody was stuck in there. And we got to the airport, and we flew out on the last plane with the U.S. troop, and we landed here at Camp Pendleton, all the refugees. That's why Southern California has such a big population for Vietnamese, because they came over here, a lot of them. And when they came here, they used Camp Pendleton as the barrack to house all the Vietnamese refugee.
Damn.
And we was part of that whole first wave of refugee that came here.
And tell me like your level of English at the time.
Bro,
Speaking English.
none.
None?
None.
Damn.
And we had $100 and one suitcase for all 8 of us. So think about that.
That's fucking
No
crazy.
English,
Dude.
landed in the whole of the country, and 29, 34, and 5 kids. Mom's pregnant with somebody. That's crazy.
It is fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
And so what was the game plan for your parents at that time?
All they wanted to do was survive, man. They wanted to, like, my dad, number one, didn't want to get killed, right? And so that's why we left. And then I asked my mom, you know, obviously when I got older, what were you guys thinking? Man, we're just trying to get out of the country because your dad would have been killed. We'd have been stuck in Vietnam, right? And we're just trying to get you guys in the U.S., man, have a better life. So that's why I appreciate helping so many people today, what I do.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that was me.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah, it's an inspiring story. So how did you go from Camp Pendleton up to Seattle?
Governor Evans from Washington State decided they're going to help. So they came down here and they talked to California and they says, hey, we'll help migrate some of your refugee up to Washington State. And so my dad volunteered to go up to Seattle. Otherwise, I've been down here hanging with you. You see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so we was the first 500 family that left up to Seattle. And my family was the first family that hit the tarmac first. And we had all kind of newspaper article on it. And that's why I have some of those articles today in the Seattle Times newspaper. I actually found them. And so our family ended up landing in Seattle, and we made Seattle the home base. And then they used Camp Murray, which is another military base like Camp Pendleton, to house all the refugee up in Seattle.
Damn.
And we lived there for a few months. And then a gentleman named Charles Zeller, who worked as a volunteer at the shelter, he decided to sponsor our family, 8 of us, to go live with him and his mom. And he took care of us.
Damn.
It's crazy.
And what did your parents do when you guys got to Seattle for work?
My mom didn't speak English. My dad spoke a little bit of English because he spoke a little English already because he was in Vietnam. He worked for the military. So the first year and a half, we didn't do much. We was getting settled in. My dad finally found a job up in Seattle, which is 45 minutes up from where we live up to where his job was.
What's it called?
We lived in a place called Sumner,
Okay.
which is 45 minutes away from Seattle. It's
Okay.
like the countryside.
Sure.
And so my dad found a custodian job at this one place in Seattle, but he didn't have to drive. So the mom, she was like in her high 60. She used to drive my dad, bro, 45 minutes to work, drop him off. She'd drive back home, and she'd drive back out at 5 o'clock to pick him up and bring him back home every day, bro, for like 7 months.
That's fucking crazy,
And so
dude.
that's why he started making his money. And then we stayed home. My mom took care of all of us. 'Cause we was only 5 and 6 and 3s and 2s, you know what I mean? And my dad got this, he worked his way up. And then he ended up being a social worker for state of Washington. And so helping a lot of refugees get settled in. And then he became a social worker until he died.
Damn. So in the meantime, you grow up a little bit. You start working in the valet industry. I believe you're parking cars for a living. How did you go from valet to real estate investing?
So when we moved to Seattle, you know what I mean? I had paper routes when I was younger. I had actually 2 paper routes at one time. All right. I worked at a grocery store like Safeway. I was parking cars, you know what I mean? After I graduated from high school, when I was going to college, at a Chinese restaurant. And by the time I graduated from college in 91, I didn't really want to fix airplane anymore because I went to school to fix airplane, A&P mechanic,
Yeah.
like my older
aircraft
brother.
mechanic, A&P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't inspired. I did it because my older brother did it. And I got my degree. I passed, but I hated it. You know what I mean? And I was parking car at a Chinese restaurant. And one of the daughter that their parent owned that restaurant was studying for their real estate license. And we was talking to, she's like, you should go do it with me, right? Because you make good money doing this, 7%. I'm thinking $7,000 for every 100,000 house you sell.
Sure.
But you know, that ain't true.
Right.
But it got me fired up. And so I went and got my license, and then I became a realtor in 1991. And then I just dropped the A&P thing. And then I was still living at home, so I had nothing to lose. And then I went and got my real estate license. I got started as a realtor. And the first 3 years, I didn't do very well. I was struggling because I didn't know nobody. I was 21. I was the youngest agent ever hired in Washington. Then I met this guy named Mike Ferry. He's right? You know Mike Ferry, real estate coach. And then he started teaching people like me how to do things, and I paid him for coaching. And then from there, bro, I knew exactly what I got to do. I had to go find sellers, and I was door knocking 100 doors a day, 5 days a week for 10 years straight, every day in Seattle to find listings. And that's how I started my real estate business.
Just grinding.
Grinding.
I see a lot of new agents get in the game, and they focus on working with a lot of buyers. But you went straight to the
Straight to
sellers.
the listing. Because that's what Mike Ferry taught. If you
Yeah.
control the listing, you control the buyer. You control the inventory, you control the buyer. And still today, you know what I mean? And so I tell everybody, even today more than ever, real estate agent, you have to work with seller, especially with the new NAR rule that's coming out. You know what I mean? They're going to negotiate your commission. But as a seller, they're used to paying it now. So from day one, I was out there listing houses. But what I didn't know was this. I didn't know I was training myself to find off-market deal today.
Mm.
And that was the biggest win for me because I had to practice scripts. I had to know my geographic. I had to go out there and talk to sellers. I had to learn how to handle objection. I had to learn how to close for the deal or the listing at the time. And I did that for 10 years. And I was selling 150 homes a year with me, Cammy, and one assistant.
Damn.
And I got good at talking to seller. And when I got into investing, the only thing I had to do, instead of making a list of nice houses, I make a list of ugly houses. And then I will call them and I do the same thing to them. And that's how I find all my deal. I find my own deal by just prospecting and just buying my own leads.
Yeah. How many doors were you door knocking a day?
Bro, 100 doors a day, 5 days a week for 10 years straight.
Damn.
10 years straight.
What do you tell yourself like on those days where you're like, fuck, I don't feel like doing this, but you know you should?
I tell you what I said to myself. There was days, bro, I was out door knocking. I remember it clearly this one day. I'm knocking on this lady's door. This lady looked at me and go, I didn't ask you to knock on my door. Go learn how to speak English. Get the hell off my porch. Click. Right? I had many of those. But the one thing that kept me going, I wanted to retire my mom first.
That's powerful, man.
That's the one thing I had to do.
Yeah.
Right? We'd get up off the ground, bro, for your mama.
Yeah.
Right?
What was she doing for a living at that time?
Working at a imitation crab factory, stuffing imitation crab meat into bags. 8-10 hours a day, and still come home and clean and cook.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I swim across the ocean and take care of that shit.
Yeah. I love that, dude. So How did you buy the first deal?
I'm at a seller's house. I door knocked her, and these couple, yeah, I want to sell. The house is 1530 South Shelton Street is the address. Until know it today. Have you ever thought about selling? She said, yes. How much do you want for it? 110. I said, okay. Looked at it and said, I'd like to buy it from you for 105. Would you sell it to me for 105? She's like, sure. I bought it for 105. Mine is my commission. And that's my first buy. And I bought that as a first-time home buyer with 5% down.
Damn.
And today, I still own that property.
You still own it?
Still own that property.
Damn.
It's free and clear today. I had 3 different tenants that lived in it. They paid it off. Today, I can sell that property for $750,000.
And what's the rent for?
The rent for $3,000.
That's crazy.
So you think about it, I put down 5% of 105, which is called it $6,000. Somebody been taking care of it. You know, maintenance here and there, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth. I bought it for 105. It's worth $750 today.
What was the rent back then?
$1,500.
Yeah, now it's 3,000.
Yeah,
It's real estate's a beautiful thing.
that's
man.
why I keep telling people they ain't listening to me, bro.
Yeah,
I keep trying to tell them.
I know.
Yeah, and imagine you got hundreds of those.
So I understand that you actually accumulated a bunch of houses and you actually decided to live at home at your parents' house when you could have moved out, you could have balled out, but you decided to live at home.
That's right.
Why did you decide to live at home and pay off a lot of these houses first?
At the time, Cammie was not my wife at the time, and so we used to stay at my mom and dad's house, right, as boyfriend and girlfriend, and we was out selling real estate. And every time we bought a house like that, we put 5% down. And at that time, you know, it was much easier. Put down 5%. And then as soon as I had another 5%, I went and bought another house saying I want to live in the house. So I was upgrading. And I bought like probably 12 to 15 of those houses. And Cam and I, we was comfortable living in my mom and dad's house. You know what I mean? You know, we work all day long. We come home. They take care of us. And we were just saving our money. And then we just kept buying houses. And my goal was to buy like 10 or 12 of those and then pay them off so I can have like 20 grand a month in passive income. So after that, I can play the game of real estate without putting a gun in my head because I had no expenses. So I have 20 grand a month in passive income in my late 30s, early 40s. And after that, I was off to the run.
Yeah, and I think that's the name of the game, man. So like, I think when you build your portfolio and maybe you have an active stream of income. I always tell people that are trying to get into real estate and like they're about the passive income. I'm like, dude, you need some sort of form of active income to supplement the long-term investing because real estate's a long game. So I'm like, you need to find whatever it is, whether it's flipping homes, which a lot of people do. Maybe you have an online community. Whatever it is, you need to find that side hustle, or maybe it's a property management business where you manage other people's properties. That works as well. But when you have those other streams, then it allows you to go and take a little bit more risk on the real estate side because you're not banking on these deals to go well in order to survive.
And passive income is a slow gain.
Mm-hmm. Very slow.
That's why I made a video the other day, you know, because everybody always mocked me like, yo, passive income, yeah, man, it's so fucking slow, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, but we're not comparing passive income to active income. Active income, I make a lot of money in active income. You know what I mean? Right? But I don't talk about active income. I mean, you know, I make like over $10 million a year in active income. I never talk about it, right? I always talk about passive income, right? But if I had to compare myself, yeah, I make over $10 million a year in active income, and I got $100,000 a month in passive income before all my other property get paid off. So the game of the game is I still create active income, and I just use that money to pay down my property. Today, I got plenty of property. I just need to pay them off, all of them. If I get all of them paid off, I'm going to get probably 250, 300 grand a month in passive income.
Is that your goal?
Yeah.
That is your
I'm
goal.
54 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, how much do we really need, right? I mean, my house is paid off. You know what I mean? My whole personal expense is only like 30 grand a month. You know what I mean? And I got, you know, if I pay all my property, I'm going to get like 300 grand a month. And if I hold my property, don't do nothing to it, don't do nothing, don't even trade it, in the next 15 years, I'll have $1 billion in net worth.
Say that one more time.
Yes, sir. Let me say it again in English. Right? And I have no investors, just so you know. If I hold all my property and I don't 1031 them into anything, just leave them alone. I'm not even talking about passive income. I'm talking about just compound appreciation.
Sure.
15 years from now, maybe 20, all those property be worth over $1 billion. I have over $1 billion with the net worth.
And that's no 1031 exchanges
Nope.
or anything.
Leave it
Just
alone,
paying
as
these
is.
things off and let them roll.
Just that, even if I don't pay them off, this
Yeah.
compound appreciation will get me to $1 billion. And I started by buying one property in 1997 at 1530 South Shelton Street with 5% down. So you know the American dream work.
It does. It
But
does.
you know but you know what the difference is, Rich? Nobody have the patience for delayed gratification.
Mhm.
I got to do both, bro. I still make active income. I keep telling people on social media, keep doing active income. Just take some of that money and just park it. You don't, it ain't like you do this to live off the passive income tomorrow. You're going to live off the active income. Do this so you can actually have something for tomorrow.
Yeah. I think there's 2 reasons why people don't get into real estate investing. I think one, they're around the wrong circle.
100%.
I hear a lot of people that come up to me or they come up to me at meetups and they're like, hey, I want to do a deal. And I'm like, hey, go read this book and like listen to this podcast. And then I see them 9 months later. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they'll be like, oh, like I got sidetracked or life got busy or I went and talked to my father-in-law and he told me it was not a good time to buy.
Yep.
And they get talked out of it by people that don't own any real estate. And then I think the other reason is people just don't want the delayed gratification. They want the get rich quick scheme. And so, real estate investing, you're playing the long game. 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, you're going to see some results. But a lot of people don't want to wait 12 months. They don't even want to wait 6 months. They want something that's going to happen right now.
And the thing is that if they keep their active income going, they wouldn't even think about the passive income. That's just like nobody sit there and go, man, I can't wait till my stock market cash me out, bro, so I can stop working. Nobody think like that, right? So I say to people, you don't park the money into rental and expect that thing to give you 20 grand a month in passive income tomorrow. You just keep doing what you're doing. Take some of that money that you're already spending on the Gucci bags and the Louis Vuitton shoe and all the Rolexes, all that stuff. Park it in some rentals. And then 10 years, you look back and go, damn, how do I have 10 property? Right? And it's pumping out now 20 grand a month. And you're still making millions over here, whatever you're doing for a living.
I agree, man. And if you buy the assets first, those assets can go buy the Louis Vuitton bags and all the nice stuff and the nice cars.
Yeah.
Right? What are your thoughts on this? So like, some people say, hey, I love investing in the Midwest because I get the cash flow. It's too expensive to buy out here in areas like Seattle, like San Diego. So I go and invest in the Midwest. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you from interviewing a lot of people myself who owns property in those areas. Okay. And this is what, if I interview 20 people, and this is what they all say. That's when I started, I was broke. I didn't have any money. And so what I decided to do, I was going to raise capital. And the way I can actually really scale this thing is to buy apartment buildings. And so the only way we could actually get a lot of doors cheap is we got to go into those areas. And so we end up getting 1,000 door, 2,000 door, 3,000 door. And after owning them for about 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, we realized, man, the market really hasn't appreciated as great as I thought it was in these areas. And as much work that it takes for my property manager and for the cash flow we make, and we got to put it back in the building, we're not getting ahead as much as we thought we was. And so what we decided to do is we're going to actually take a bunch of our property, like half of our portfolio, and trade them for more of a B market area so we can get some compound appreciation and better tenant. We might lose doors, but the number of doors we lose for the appreciation and the cash flow is actually good. And I can tell you, I was on a Bigger Pocket podcast. There was a whole bunch of people that was on there that was multifamily, and that's what they did. Me and Ken McElroy, we was hanging out in Arizona. He's owned all his doors in Oklahoma City, all of them. When I saw him last year, he sold off his last big apartment building in Oklahoma, and all of them is in Arizona now. And he said the same thing. And so for me, is those areas are great if you have no money starting out. If you want to get some cash flow, I agree. Those cash flow better than San Diego, Seattle. But at some point, I say to all my students, if you're going to invest in this area, don't put all your egg in that one bucket. If you want some cash flow, let's say you want 10,000, keep 5 or 6 of them that's producing 10,000, then invest the rest in the area where you have appreciation.
Yeah, I agree.
So 20 years, 30 years from now, your net worth will grow. Like, for example, in Seattle, average home, let's call it 700 grand. Okay. If you put down 20%, you put 140, but it's worth, you got a $700,000 investment. It doubles every 7 years in Seattle, just like in San Diego, probably, right? That means $1,700,000 will go to 1.4 million in 7 years. Another 7 year go from 1.4 to 2.8.
Yeah, and let me put that in perspective.
Yes, go ahead.
You go buy that same $700,000 property in Oklahoma City, you might get, if you're lucky, you might get $1,200 in cash flow a
Yes.
month.
Yes.
Let's just call it 10,000 over an entire year. Okay. So in the same 7 years, that 10,000 a month cash flow is going to multiply by 7 years and get you $70,000 in cash flow.
Thank you, bro.
$70,000 or $700,000 in
Thank you,
appreciation.
bro.
And that's the main
point
difference.
I'm making, dog.
That's the main difference.
That's the more I'm making.
Yeah.
Not too many people get that shit, bro.
No. Yeah.
I be telling people that shit. You know what I mean? Now, imagine that's 7 years. Do it 14 year. Do it, you know what I mean? 10, 20, 30 year out the road.
Mhm.
The guy that has cash flow, we will outrun their ass, bro. We'll leave him in the dust like a Ferrari and a Pinto.
Yeah.
20 years from
absolutely,
now.
Man. And that's been my progression. So when I first got into real estate, my first deal was 11 unit apartment building in Cincinnati because it was cheap. I bought it for $350,000 and it got me in the game.
Yes, it did.
And I'm actually selling that property right now. It did good. Like I bought it for $350,000, but it did good because I forced appreciation. I renovated units, I got the rents up, and now we're selling it for just over $800,000. Okay. But the reason I'm moving it is because I'm going to move that equity into San Diego. It's an area here that I believe in. I'm bullish on this area. It's a high growth market. And I'm a 1031 those proceeds into something out here that's 1.65. I'm under contract right now. And I know this property out here, my team can manage. But also in 10 or 12 years, that property that's 1.65 here is going to be worth 3.2, 3.4 million. Where a little apartment building in Cincinnati is never going to be worth $3 or $4 million.
Hell no.
Never.
If it is, it's worth more than the whole damn city.
Yeah. Right.
But bro, think about this. Imagine having 10 of those in San Diego.
Yes.
That's the point I'm making. So all these people out here, if y'all listening to me, okay? Look, if you want $10,000 to get out of your rat race because, you know, it costs you 10 grand to live, you want $10,000, get your 10,000 in Cincinnati, get your 10,000 in the Midwest. But then take the rest of the money, right? And start parking into compound appreciation in the market. Because you're going to go way farther. That's why I'm telling you. Think about this. Come from Vietnam with nothing, bro, and be a billionaire here in the next 15 years. Are you kidding me?
It's inspiring, man. But I agree with you. I think if you have a little bit to invest and this is your first deal or your first couple deals and you want to go in the Midwest because you want a little cash flow so you can get a little freedom, do it. I think it was good for me. I got my feet wet. Cincinnati, it's never going to boom, but it's also never going to bust. So you're never going to lose your ass. It's pretty hard if you could buy an 11 unit apartment building for $350, it's pretty hard to lose money, right? But I think what it did for me is I got the confidence, I got the experience, and I made all these mistakes with that deal. That deal had hookers, it had prostitution. I hired the wrong property manager. I had to fire the property manager 2 months in, and I learned what it was like to renovate units out of state. And so I got all the experience and I got all the confidence to go and do a second deal, and then a third deal and a fourth deal. And once I had enough cash flow to walk away from the day job and go full-time into real estate investing, then I was able to kind of pick and choose my spots and take a little bit more risk, go into higher cash flow markets, even though, hey, maybe I'm not going to get any cash flow for the first 3 or 4 years. I might break even or even come out of pocket a couple $100 a month, which I'm totally cool with, because I know over time with inflation and the way rents go up over time and appreciation, I'm going to do well.
That's right. And we can always 1031 this property since that's so much equity after a compound into take all the equity and then put it in something different again. Now it's going to cash flow when you got all the equity going into another property that's bigger. Now it's going to even work better. Like I got a bunch of 8 unit, 10 unit apartment buildings, right? I got so much equity in some of these that I'm looking for a 100 unit apartment building right now. Like a value add 100 building. I take some of those equity, I put it 50% down. Because if there's equity, if I have all the equity, I put 50% down on a big building, it's going to cash for way more than my 10 unit building. So I use it for leverage. I use it for write-off. I use it for let the compound grow and 1031 into bigger property. But yeah, man. But here's the thing, bro. If y'all never get started, this shit don't want to make no difference anyway. You got to get started with something. That's why I always tell people, just go buy one. Buy one, and everything will start from there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think a lot of people get stuck with, I need to read one more book, or I need to listen to one more podcast. Seminar. I need to go to one more conference. Right? And like a year goes by, I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? Where you at? And they're like, oh, like I'm still like working on this. And, you know, I got a little sidetrack, life got busy. It's like, dude, you know, if you really want it bad enough, like it doesn't matter what part of the market cycle we're in. You can make money in any part of the market cycle. Like when I jumped in, everyone told me it was too risky. They were like, because I cashed out my 401k to get into it. And they're like, they outlined all the risks. Like, oh, don't invest out of state. Don't cash out your 401k. This is a bad time to get in. And then next thing, COVID happened in 2020. Like, oh, don't you regret getting in?
Right.
You know, and also, so there's always going to be an excuse not to get in. But I realized like I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I would have listened to all that noise.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, bro. You know this. You gotta really be careful who you're listening to,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like, if a guy or a gal only owe 3 or 4 property, you can listen to them and learn what they learned on a 3 or 4 property. But if you try to scale, you can't listen to someone who don't do it, who haven't done it. That's why a lot of people can't knock me unless they just really want to find anything to knock. I just take care of my business. I'm on my own track. I do my own thing, right? I put out my own content from life experience. You can't make no knock me because why? Because everything I preach, I do. Everything I teach students, I do. And I'm still doing it in real time today, right? And so unless someone's doing it, don't listen to them because it's going to confuse you more.
Yeah. I agree. So I'm curious, what do you think the best real estate investing play is right now in 2024?
I'm going to tell you right now, bro. The new cash flow game.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay? This is the new cash flow game, especially in a more expensive market like Seattle, San Diego.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's the ADU play all day. Think about this, Rich. You know this. You can do the math. In Seattle, and I know similar in San Diego, in Seattle, the max ADU we can build, a detached away from the house, is 1,000 square feet.
Just one.
Just one.
That's it. Wow.
Right? One.
Yep.
Behind a single family home. But it costs us $350 a square foot to build it, which is $350,000. Okay? That's what it costs. It's worth $700,000.
Because the comps are 70 or $700
That's
a
right.
foot. Yep.
But it only cost me $350. But we rent them for $3,500 to $4,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,000 square foot ADU. Now you know the 1% rule of thumb. If you buy something for $350, you can rent for $3,500. It's a 1% rule of thumb. You can't get 1% rule of thumb in Hawaii, San Diego, LA, Seattle, the Bay Area, New York, Jersey. You can't. But you can get it with the ADU because the square footage is less. You're giving them less square footage, but the value is still high. The cost is going to be less because you're giving them less square foot. That's why micro apartment work well for me too, because I'm only giving people 300 square foot, 250 square foot apartment building, but we rent them out for $1,400, $1,500 in Seattle.
And because they're new, they're designed to maximize the square footage, maximize the
Built
space.
green.
Maybe ceilings are a little bit higher,
That's
so
right. Open space.
It feels bigger than it really is.
That's right. So that's a new play. San Diego now on a single family lot. If it's big enough, you can get 1 or 2 or 3 ADUs in the backyard. And if it costs you $250, $300 a square foot, and you can rent them out for more than 1%, you're winning. You're never going to get that. But soon, everybody's going to catch on, and that cash flow game will disappear. So the new sliced bread right now is ADU right now. I was telling with Brandon Turner, right,
Okay.
when I was in Maui.
Mm-hmm.
He even agreed. He's like, yeah, I agree with you. The new cash flow game for Maui is definitely ADUs. Or Hawaii, period. Because you're giving away less square footage, still get high rent.
I've never heard of it as the cash flow game, but the way you say it actually makes a lot of sense. I've been saying this whole year, I'm like, my 2 favorite plays of 2024 are 2 things. Buying boutique hotels from mom and pop sellers that we can pick up at a discount and add a lot of appreciation. There's a big disconnect right now. We got 40 million baby boomers retiring in the next 7 years. And then the other play I really love is the ADU play, because we can build at $350 a foot, and then depending on where these neighborhoods comp out, some of these neighborhoods in La Jolla, San Diego, even $1,000 a square foot, right? So now you're adding a lot of appreciation. We get the pocket on the delta, but I've never heard it framed as a cash flow play, but it makes a lot of sense now the way you're saying it. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and only 1,000 square feet.
My student in LA are converting a detached 400 square feet garage for about $120,000, and they rent them out, bro, for $2,200. That's more than 1% rule.
Yeah.
See, so that's where the play is. When people go, oh, LA, San Diego, Seattle's too expensive. Yeah, but the more expensive, the more they're forcing to allow more housing on single family lot, because that garage didn't cost you nothing. And that backyard didn't cost you nothing. All it costs you is the structure that you put on it.
I agree, man. There's a lot of people that they don't live here, but the people that don't live here, they always say, I'll never invest in real estate in California. And they're investing in all these other areas in the Midwest, but they don't like the bureaucracy and all this stuff. But honestly, the political climate and the bureaucracy and the red tape here, yes, it does exist. And yes, it's real. But honestly, like those barriers to entry is what makes investing in real estate a good thing. You can use it to your
You
advantage.
got it, bro.
You know, you can.
Seattle, bro. I mean, man, there's so many loopholes. My goodness. But you know what? Everybody still want to be in Seattle. Jobs is up there, big companies up there, and housing is needed bad. And so they getting paid good money. So hey, they don't have no problem paying $3,500 for a 1,000 square foot brand new ADU all day.
Yeah. I see you on Instagram building a lot of like townhome style
Yes,
stuff.
multifamily. Yep.
Yeah. So you'll build like what, like a fourplex and like kind of townhome style larger units.
Yep. So in Seattle, we have single family zoning where what I do is three things that I do in Seattle. I used to do everything, but now I realize I studied the market. I know in Seattle, in my opinion, the three money making product, buying ugly houses and putting ADUs in the backyards.
Okay.
Okay.
And you renovate the main house too?
Renovate the main
Okay.
house so I can create force equity in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I build out the ADU in the back. So I'm force equity in these things, cash flow. So I'll keep those. So I'll buy one house and I get two houses out of it. So you're winning all day, right? The second thing I do is multifamily. So they have this zoning where you put townhouses. They have them here in San Diego too. And those townhouses, it costs me all in somewhere between $550,000, $600,000, but they're worth like $800,000, $900,000. So I'm forced equity. And we rent those for like $4,000, $4,500.
If you love real estate investing, passive income, and tax benefits, but don't have the time, my company, Summers Capital, is buying boutique hotels right now. We source the deals, we renovate the properties, and we even handle all the day-to-day management, making it truly hands-off for our investors. If you want to learn more to see if we can help you, visit summerscapital.com/invest to book a call with our team. Again, that's summerscapital.com/invest. Now back to the show.
So when you build the townhouses, are you building are you buying an empty lot and then just
I'll
developing?
buy an ugly house
Okay.
that's zoned on townhouse zoning, and I tear down the house, and I put
How many
either,
townhomes will you put up?
anywhere between 4 and 8 townhouses. So I got a couple sites right now. I'm doing 8 right now,
Got it.
and I put rooftop decks on them. You know what I mean? And we rent them all out.
So a single family lot has the zoning to build basically multifamily
yep.
zoning.
And then the third thing that I do is micro apartments,
Okay.
and that's have a different have more of a commercial zoning.
Mm.
And I just recently did another micro apartments, 5,500 square foot lot. They don't require parking on these because it's in urban village area. And we built a 32-unit apartment building. Average square feet, it's about 280, 290, call it 300 square feet. And the land, it cost me all in $550,000. And the whole building cost me $3 million to build. So I'm all in for 3.6.
That's less than $100,000 a unit.
I got it, bro. That's what it
What?
cost me. And then
Damn. And what do
it's
those rent
all-
for? The micro units.
it rent for anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500.
Dude, that's like a 1.5% roll.
You got it, bro.
Fuck, dude.
And then the thing been appraised at $6.3 million already. So I got easy 50% equity. My all-in mortgage, property tax, insurance, everything is like $20,000. I bring in $40,000 a month in rent.
Dude.
See?
That's crazy, man.
So those are my 3 things I do in Seattle over and over and over. I go deep on it. I don't go out of state. I don't go do anywhere. I just do single family ADU, multifamily, and then micro apartments. I just go deep with that. And I do it all on my own, no investors.
What when you do the townhomes, I'm curious, is one of your exit strategies to like basically sell them off individually, or you're always going to hold them as one property and rent them out?
But when they get permitted, they are all permitted individually.
Oh, they are.
They're already individually.
Separate parcels and
Separate
everything.
parcel, everything, ready to go.
Ah.
But I keep all of them. So if I ever want to sell, if I need some money, I just sell one at a time, like individual townhouses.
Got it.
But when we permit them and get them all ready, they all got their own separate tax ID number, right? And when I get loans on them, meaning takeout loan, they all have their own individual individual loan.
So it's 4 different mortgages.
Yeah, or 8, depending on how many units.
Yeah,
on
okay,
there.
you do that many.
Yep.
Okay, interesting, dude. So the micro apartments, that's pretty interesting.
The
man. So
micro and the ADU
32
is the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
32 unit building, you paid $500, $600 for the lot, $3 million to build. So your all-in cost basis is about 3.5, 3.6, and then
All
it's
in. My
worth
loan is
7
$3.6 million
worth
on the
7
whole
million.
thing. It's worth 6.3, 6.4 million right now.
So you're not only burning, but you're like, you potentially pull a little bit of money
That's
out.
what I
35.
tell people, man. They be thinking, man, can you burn? Man, I'm burning single family. I'm burning townhouses. I'm burning micro apartments in Seattle. The most hottest. Seattle's just like San Diego, bro.
Yeah.
Because you got to know how to force the play, and you got to know what the play is.
What's your take on location in Seattle? What's your strategy there?
Oh man, it has to be in the city limit of Seattle.
Okay.
That's the key.
So it has to have a Seattle mailing address.
Yep.
Okay.
It has
What
to
else?
be. That's it.
Okay.
Not Bellevue, not Issaquah.
Capitol Hill.
Capitol Hill is part of Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll investor.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. It's got to have to be a city limit of Seattle.
What about Belltown?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
It's too hood.
Nope, 2 downtown.
2 downtown.
Yep, 2
A
downtown.
lot of condos and all that.
That's
high
it.
rises.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so there's a certain area of the Seattle market where I focus on. That's where all the opportunities at. And my apartment building, right? They're in opportunity zone. I hold it for 10 years. Am I ever say after 10 years? Tax free, baby. Come on.
No taxes on the gains.
No property, no
Property taxes.
Yes, right. No property taxes
Damn.
forever.
And
after
that's for
10
the next
years.
buyer.
If I hold it for 10 years. But opportunity zones in San Diego too. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
See, so you want to find them in those areas. This is why I'm saying there's a magic of knowing where to really buy and what to buy in your own backyard. Like I know everything about Seattle, and when I study all the market from all my students, San Diego, same thing. They have opportunity zone in here. It gets to be close to the city. But everybody in San Diego, oh, it's too expensive to close to the city because they look at La Jolla as an example. Oh, how you? No, you don't buy in La Jolla. Like where I live in Seattle, you don't buy where I live. Too expensive.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Because it's like I live in San Diego. I'm bullish on this market, but I was investing all these out of state markets, and now we're buying deals here. We just did a 24-unit boutique hotel here in Lid, Italy.
Oh, nice.
Like 6 blocks from the office. And that was my first commercial deal here. Up until this point, I owned like a lot of single family, short-term rental stuff like that. And they always did good, but this is my first commercial deal here in San Diego, 24-unit boutique hotel. We bought it for a number with our investors. I started with a 5. We renovate this thing, make it nice. And it's in a neighborhood I believe in. And I'm like, dude, it's just so nice because, we want to go check in on the renovation. We just walk over there. We want to go check in on how things are going. We just walk over there. And so it makes it a lot easier, but it's also a market that I believe in. And so now my whole progression has shifted to where it's like, invest for cash flow. I'm like, no. Invest where you have the competitive advantage. And often it's in your own market. Now, if you live in some random market, like whatever, then okay, then go look for other stuff. But if you live in a great market, that's probably going to be the best place for you to invest because you understand it best, and that's where you're going to have the competitive advantage.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, man, is like again, depending on how old someone is, what they do for a living, right? If you're young and you still make good money, and you don't mind buying in a expensive market like Seattle, San Diego, because you don't really care for the passive income, as long as you break even, you're happy. You just want to park your money for tax write-off, for appreciation. You know what I mean? Because the people who don't really invest in real estate, yeah, you can brag to say you're making 1 million, 2 million, 5 million a year. But you know what? If you don't own anything, you don't have anything to write off, you're paying half of that shit to Uncle Sam.
Yeah. No, I agree,
And you
man.
still ain't got shit at the end of 20 years.
I agree. Real estate's about debt and taxes, man.
It's purely, you look at all the wealthy people, they do it for the tax purpose. Then cash flow is followed by that. The wealthy people are doing it for tax shelter, not for cash flow. See, the poor people do it for cash flow. The wealthy people do it for appreciation and for write-off.
Yeah. That's powerful. So I'm curious your thoughts, man. So like, do you think that if someone's listening to this right now and they want to get started, do you think that they should go and try to do some sort of ADU play or some sort of construction play, or should they maybe go start with an existing property like a single family and renovate that?
If I was coaching someone right now in San Diego and let's say they don't have anything, I would tell them, go find a property in San Diego where you can buy it for about probably $700,000, right? And buy it as a first-time home buyer with 5% down. And then you have that backyard, right? Renovate the house, live in it. Or after you renovate it, if you change your mind, hey, rent it out. And you might break even, you might pay a little bit negative. But then you got a backyard, depending on what you buy, you could add another 1 to 2 or 3 more ADU in the backyard, and that's the game changer.
Yeah. Let me give you the play in San Diego because I've done a couple of these.
Yes.
So right now, we one of our businesses is a property management company. We manage short-term rentals and the boutique hotels. We're in 8 markets around the country. San Diego, by far, is the best market that we manage in. You don't have to push and pull on these listings. The weather's good year-round, and they just stay full. And so there's a play right now. There used to be 16,000 short-term rentals in the city of San Diego. May of last year, they slashed the supply. They said, we're only going to do 5,500 licenses.
Wow.
And so already a good short-term rental market. And now you can get a license and you never have to worry about the city coming and say, hey, you can't operate anymore, right? And so there's still 800 licenses left from the city. So I think this is the best play. Go get a no money down loan or FHA, 5% down. Navy Federal Credit Union does no money down loans. I've done 2 of them. I still own those properties today. Yes, you got to live on them as a primary residence. Go live on them for a little bit while you set it up and then convert it over to a short-term rental. They don't care what you do after. They know things change. People's plans get changed. They get uprooted from jobs. They go through divorces. And so what you do after, as long as you're making your debt service payments, they don't care. And so what I would do is go buy that single family property on a large lot. I feel like you need to own the land. All these high rises that we see here in downtown San Diego, people always ask me, hey, do you want me to buy this condo? Or do you think I should buy this condo? It's a good play. I'm like, don't fucking buy the condo. You got to own the land. That's where the value is. And so you can buy that single family home, no money down. And now you have a couple things. Get the short-term rental license. That brings in cash flow. And because it's on a big lot, we can add ADU, maybe a couple ADUs. And so down the road, when you have more money, you can put more money into it, build the ADUs, or maybe you go get a private money loan and then they can finance the ADU, right? And now you're getting income three ways: cash flow for the Airbnb, you're getting the forced depreciation from building the ADU, and then get a cost seg study, get all the tax benefits and the depreciation. And if you're working a W-2 job, you can now use the depreciation, because it's a short-term rental, to offset not only the passive income from your short-term rental, but also offset all the income that you make at your day job in terms of taxes and income taxes. And I think that is the fucking play in San Diego right now for someone listening to this.
I'm about to drop a cherry on top of that shit for you.
Okay,
bro.
let's hear it.
There's a new law that came out. It's called 10-1033
Okay.
in the state of California.
What's that?
It means that right now they are working on it. It's going to be maybe a year from now, it'll be done. It's already been approved already. It could take about a year to get it all ready to go. 1033 mean that when you do your ADU, as soon as you get all final approved, you have separate parcel number for every one of those doors. And you can sell them individually anytime, like Seattle. That means if you have a house in the front and you got 4 ADU in the back, each one of them have their own tax. So you have 5 tax ID number. So you ever want to sell one off, you can sell them off because it has its own separate tax parcel number. And by doing that, 2 things are going to happen. When you have separate tax ID number, you can compromise individual houses. So the ARV jump massively because you have 5 houses, not a house with an ADU in the backyard. And then you can go get a line of credit on them because they all get individuals, so they have way more equity in them. So your ARV jump, you have more equity in each one of those. You can sell them individually, and you can get loans on them as individual lots.
Yeah.
That's freaking game changer, bro. In Seattle, that's why an ADU we could build for $350, and the ADU is worth $700 because it's a separate house in the backyard.
That's huge, dude.
That's a game changer.
And he said 12 months it should be approved?
It's been approved. State of California already approved already.
Damn.
The whole state of California only been approved already. But every district, it takes a while for them to run it through the system to get it all ready and go.
So let me ask you this then. I got a property. I got a couple properties that we're doing ADU projects on right now in San Diego. But one of them is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home. There is a 2-car garage, which is a separate structure, and above the 2-car garage is a JADU.
Yes.
And then the 2-car garage, I just got permits to convert into another ADU. So you're saying once this gets pushed through, and there's already separate addresses for all 3.
But separate address, different separate parcel ID number.
So how would that work if it's like I would potentially sell off this other structure that has 2 ADUs in it, and those would be 2 different.
Or it's like how do you sell a condo?
Yeah.
Remember, so how they doing it right now is they do what they call condoizing. They share the grounds, but every individual owner owns that box they live in. It's like a condo. So they own that, but they share. There's a small HOA that share on the land they own. That's why one piece of land can build 50 condos, and each one of them own that condo, but they share the land. So when someone ever buy that one unit, a JADU or an ADU, they're buying that.
Yeah.
See, right? If they're a building, there's 2 ADUs in it. They're buying really 2 ADU, 2 individual houses, not a duplex anymore. The duplex is just one parcel number. But if you have one structure that has 2 property on it, that's 2 units. That's like townhouses, how townhouses are connected to each other. When you sell them, you can sell them separately, right? So when that happened, you really not selling a duplex. You're selling 2 individual units. And the price is much higher than one duplex.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening in Seattle right now.
Yeah. Do you think this ADU play in California and the West Coast in general is going to be around forever? Or do you think this is like
Forever,
a window
bro.
that they could turn off at some point?
Nope. And the reason why is this. The biggest issue the United States is dealing with right now
Affordable housing?
is affordable housing. It's the biggest thing. The biggest thing. Every city council in every state, they all deal with the same thing. So the easiest thing they can do is to allow people to put a second structure on their own backyard of a single family zoning property without rezoning the whole entire damn city. On a single family home, you can put a second structure. So what happened in Seattle 3-4 years ago was, all right, we allow you to put a second structure in the backyard, but you have to live in the front to rent the back. That was for about a year. And then they go, you know what? You can rent the front and you can rent the back now. Then a year after that, they gave us 2 separate tax exemptions. We could sell them off separately because they're trying to create more affordable housing. And we have massive shortage. And this is how they're going to create more inventory for housing by letting people build on the backyard. So I'm going to tell you, 10 years down the road, if people don't hip to this game, people like me will buy most of the house with backyard up. So 10 years now, a lot of the backyard will disappear because of the ADU games. Because that's the way how they build
So it might
housing.
be harder to find good ADU plays because a lot of real estate investors in 10 years would have already gone and bought these properties
Right
up.
now, bro, they barely scratching the surface. In San Diego,
So we're just getting warmed up right now.
there's barely people scratching the surface in San Diego, from what I know.
Yeah, I'm like my 2 old partners. We used to buy apartments together, and until I split off and did my own thing, and they pivoted over about 2 years ago, and they're buying a lot of this stuff that you're talking about, but they're finding single family homes and lots to where they can legally build 20, 30 units, right? And that's kind of their play right now. And I told them the other day, I reached out, I was like, dude, I don't know anyone in San Diego that is actually educating on what you guys are doing. Like, you guys should start an online community and start teaching people how to
Yeah,
do this. I
see?
think it could be a big thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's going to be around because density.
Yeah.
We have a density issue. Anything that's high dense, they're going to do this. And they're just going to stay around for a while. 'Cause that's the only way they can create more housing.
What do you say to the people that, because I get asked this question all the time, should I own where I live or should I rent?
If you ask someone like me like this, should I own where I live? Where I live, like La Jolla, Mercer Island, is expensive. No, you shouldn't own in Mercer Island. You should own in Mercer Island and go and buy rental in a B neighborhood or a C neighborhood. You know what I mean? Own over there. Those are the everyday people, right? And the price point is average. Rent anywhere now, it's just, it's up there. So no, you don't want to own where you live, as in that's a very expensive neighborhood. I always say there's 4 markets. There's the A market, with this what I call the affluent market. The B, the blue collar. The C is the contractor, and the D is the drug infested neighborhood. Right? Get the fuck out, move quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And so you can flip and wholesale in any of those markets, right? But in owning rental, you don't want to own in the affluent because it costs too much. Rent not high enough. You don't want to own in the D. The B and the C are the everyday neighborhood. That's where you want to own rentals.
Yeah. And it's also like the middle of the bell curve in terms of like affordability for like rent.
You got it, bro.
right?
That's where the B and C is at.
Yeah. So, no, I agree. And then when they build all this new construction, like I live downtown and there's cranes everywhere,
Yes.
but they're building A class.
A class. And those
Yes.
are all A's.
Yeah,
See,
those are all A's.
downtown, all A's. Right? And you're not gonna be able to afford that unless, you buy a single family. Most single family are in residential neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that poor people are buying real estate for the cash flow,
That's right.
and the more affluent people are buying real estate because they understand the debt and the taxes.
That's right.
Why do you think that is?
Because the poor people is like, their mentality is this: oh man, I'm tired of working my 9 to 5. I'm trying to hurry up and buy some rental properties so I can get out of my 9 to 5. And so what they do is they go to the market where they can buy a house for like $50,000 and they can rent it for $1,000. It's way beyond the 1% rule. You know what I mean? And they get in for nothing, right? They can do seller financing. They can do subject to. They can do all that because those areas, you know what I mean? They don't sell like San Diego. You know what I mean? And so they go in with little to nothing. They cash flow great. But just like your Cincinnati, at some point that neighborhood will peak out. But it might take a while to peak out. If you get enough equity in it, roll it into like what you did. Roll it to a better neighborhood. Use it as a start to build some equity faster, because you're not going to save as fast as you can have in compound appreciation, even in a San Diego market, in Cincinnati market, right? And so that's why a lot of people, they go after that because they've been trained everything's cash flow. Cash flow is just one equation. It's like, how many ways can you evaluate a property? Cap rate, margins, gross margins, in many ways, right? So for me, I know when I was starting, I knew I was going to work. I like selling real estate as a realtor, making money. I wasn't going to leave that job, right? Even though I don't like certain things about it, but I'm going to milk that machine as long as I can until I get enough of my rental property, right? To give me plenty of cash flow. Then after that, if I still want to do this, today I still have a team that sell real estate. You know what I mean? We still crank out about 50 deals a year. versus 150 deals a year.
Yeah. Well, you were
And
doing 150 by yourself?
150 with me, my wife, and a buyer agent and an assistant.
Hustling, man.
Hustling. So that's the reason why, bro. They all go there because they social media, everybody trained them on that. But how many people really talks about compound appreciation like you and I?
Not a lot, dude.
Not a lot. See?
No. And I think it's easy for like people like you and me or people listening to this podcast to think,
Oh, you guys are already
everyone's
rich
doing-
already.
yeah, but also it's easy to think like everyone's doing real estate investing.
Yeah.
But like in all reality, there's like 330 million Americans. And you know what percentage actually understand real estate investing and actually like do it? Probably less than 1% of 1% of 1% of that 330 million, if you think about it. And, you know, when you look at it in that light, you realize, wow, it actually is a really special and unique thing.
It is. It is.
But they don't teach it in school.
They don't teach it in school.
You teach your kids.
I teach my kid. They understand the game. They understand about real estate. They understand how to, own business. They own all the washing and drying machine in all the apartment buildings.
They own the coin operated laundromats in your
Yeah.
buildings.
So how it started was, we bought a building and we renovated it, and it 3 stories, and we needed 3 sets of wash and dryer for every story, and it was like, I want to say all 3 sets was like $10,000, right? And so they had the money. They had been saving their money. Asian people, they get money for birthdays and anniversary. I mean, like when they turn their birthday, when they do well or they graduate, they get A's, they get money.
My mom grew up in Taiwan, and she's 80 years old now. Shout out to my mom. But to this day, she still tells me like, Didia, baten guantiao, and it means turn off the lights and like save your money and like don't do that, don't do
There you
that.
go.
Like
You
she's
see what I
still
mean?
to
That's
this
the
day.
mentality, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Right? That's the thing about the Asian culture, right?
Mhm.
And so they bought it. So I was like, look, guys, if you buy the wash and dry machine, right, and we get $1,500 a month on these things, how long would it take you to get your money back? And they're like, okay, less than a year. I said, yeah, after that, it's all your money. They're like, okay, all right, let's do it. And so Russell and Hudson, they both bought it. And they go out there with their Uncle Phil, right? Go check on the coins and building every month to collect the coins. And they bring the coin back and they drop it off at Bowen Credit Union. And they've been doing that for about 4 years. And then the building I built recently, they bought all the wash and dry machine for that building.
Nice.
See?
Yeah, I love that.
So we're teaching them young.
I love that. Are they, because a lot of people, I think there's a stat, and the stat's pretty powerful, but they say 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth within the 2nd generation, and 90% lose their wealth by the 3rd generation. And so it's a testament that knowledge is not passed through assets, but it's passed through knowledge, right? And so I don't agree with, and I don't have kids, but I will have kids at some point. I will never be the parents that would just like hand your kids money. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna teach you how to go make money,
So one of the things we told Russell and Hudson when they were younger,
I think that's how
Yes.
you fuck your kids up.
they do, 100%, 100%. We told them that you guys going to get a small percentage of our net worth when we die. Then the rest of them is going to go into a charity that we're going to own, and we're going to use that charity to go do bigger things, right? And so you're not going to get the bulk of the net worth, right? You're going to get a very small percentage of it. And so they know from day one, they're not going to get the money. We want to do what Warren Buffett and Gates is doing. You know what I mean? Give the money for charity. We do something good with the charity in the world. But if the kids know that they're going to inherit billions of dollars when they get older, how I'm just training them not to be hungry, right? And why would they want to learn? I'm a trust funded baby. You know what I mean? No, you're not trust funded. You're a broke baby. You know what I mean? Because if you don't learn how to do this yourself, you're gonna be broke later. And
Yeah.
so my kids, that's why they're hustling right now, because they want to learn how to do this themselves. Right? That's why I tell all my students, my kids, you don't want nobody handing you to fish. Because at some point, if they're not around, you want to learn how to fish yourself. So learn how to fish. It's gonna go a much more longer way than someone giving you the fish all the time.
And it's a lot more fulfilling.
Way
to-
more
to-
fulfilling.
to go earn it yourself.
Hell yeah, bro.
But
But when I say that shit on social media, all the parents, they just go fucking ballistic, dog.
really, what do they say?
You know what? That's fucking bullshit. I came over here from Mexico. I came over from the Philippines. I came from Vietnam, China. I came over here so I can bust my ass so I can actually make a better life for my kids so they don't have to suffer like me. Blah, 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 right? And for you to go and work your ass off and not give it to your kid, that's fucking bullshit. You know what? You don't got your pride together. That's what they say to me.
Mm.
And I'm like, whatever, dude. All right, go ahead and keep doing that shit with your kids. And then let's see how far they go. Because everybody I know that have done that, majority of the people, I'm not saying all, their kids ain't hungry.
Mm.
They ain't got the hunger. They don't have the drive. They don't have the ambition. You know what I mean? Because it was easy for them.
And then their peers probably, probably be like, oh, like, must be nice. Your parents just gave you money, And then even if you go and earn it at that point, it's like, well, people are like, oh, your parents like hooked you up. So I think when you give your kids money, I think you're fucking
Yeah,
them
like
up.
my second kid, Hudson, he just turned 16.
How old's the
And
oldest?
the oldest is 18.
Damn.
So when Russell
You
turned
don't even look that
16,
old, bro. You look like you're just getting warmed up, my man.
54, dog.
Damn. You're still
Some
young buck,
some
dude.
of my organs,
You,
still, slow, still working with
yeah.
slowing down a
You,
little
you
bit.
got you got a lot of juice left, though, right?
I know, I got a little bit of juice left.
Okay.
But Russell, when he turned 16,
Mm-hmm.
with the kind of money I have and the net worth I have, I can easily give my kid a brand new car. It wouldn't even make a dent in my pocket. But the first year, Russell, he had to drive this bucket ass Honda. You see me driving all the time on social media.
Yeah.
My
I see
Honda
it.
Accord. You see, I call it undercover, right? It's my undercover car. And Russell, he drove it for 1 year. Hated it. Man, we got all this money. I live in Mercer Island. I got to drive this car. I'm like, hell yeah, fool. You got to learn how to drive this shit. Because you know why? You going to hit the curb. You going to mess up this car. Or you got to rather have you mess it up and you got to practice. Whatever, okay. And he goes, right? So you can take the bus, right? And so now, Hudson just turned 16. Oh, man. I want to get a BMW. $40,000 BMW. And again, for my wealth, most people, my wealth, bro, where I live, it's like a kid growing up in San Diego. $40,000 for a car is nothing for them, right? Hudson, you know the rule, buddy. You got to drive the undercover car for a year, right? Oh, man. Right? And you know what? He's driving it, right? And when he ain't driving it, when he's at school, me and Loren drive it. We go out, make videos, and we go do stuff in the Honda.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. But that's why I don't want to make it easy for my kids, because I don't want to spoil them. I don't want them to expect, easy. They got to have to work for it.
I agree, man. And I think like a lot of people that are self-made, they just have more gratitude. They have more appreciation. They have more respect for the game. And I love that you do that with your kids, dude. So I got to ask you about the social media, man, because your social media game is on point. I'm even more impressed now that knowing that your team is only a few people.
And an iPhone.
An iPhone. So what year was it when you decided I need to start taking social media seriously and start pumping out content? How long ago was that?
5-6 years ago.
Okay. And you built this whole following because you got like 1.2 million followers on Instagram. You probably got millions other on TikTok and all these other platforms. You started from scratch, just like everyone else.
Bro, first of all, I was late to the game, dog. 6 years ago, I'm 54. So 6 years ago, I was considered old as dirt to be on social media.
And you're not a sexy girl.
Nope. Right?
Yeah.
And I can barely dance like them.
Yeah.
And so 6 years ago, Facebook was out, right? It had been out for a while, but 5-6 years ago, I was on Facebook. My old assistant, Stacia, right? She one day was videotaping me speaking on stage, and then she posted it. And then I was like, man, who shot this video, right? And then we talked, and then she ended up working with me for like 2 years, 3 years. And she moved to San Diego, right? And then I met this young guy named Lorenz, right? And he was out there. He knew the game. He was young. He knew YouTube. He knew a lot of this Facebook game. And he even knew about Instagram, but Instagram just coming out. So he came and interviewed me. And then, when we got there, and I started interviewing him. What you doing? He told me he does social media. I was like, really? Man, I'm looking for somebody. And him and I had an agreement. Why don't you work with me as an intern for like a year, right? And see what you can do. And so he was like, all right, cool. So he came with me. And the first video we made when Instagram came out was, all right, just do this, that. Just shut the G-Wagon door and just hop in the car, right? And just drive off. Okay, well, I can do that. You know what I mean? And then that video, posted it, and it went viral.
It went viral. First video went viral.
It was like 100,000, right?
How did you, what was in the video that made it go viral?
It was the music, bro.
It was just the music?
But the music, right?
Yeah.
It just, he has an eye for what people see through the other side as the young folks. You know what I mean? What they wanted to see was the G-Wagon, right? They wanted to see, driving off, you know what I mean? And the trend was the music. I didn't understand all that. And then the next video we made, a couple days later, I'm out door knocking in my Rolls Royce, right? And it started raining. This is like just real time. And I was about to pull the umbrella. He said, hold up. Right? Because we out door knocking, and I take him with me, and I popped the umbrella out of the door. I popped the umbrella, and I looked in the camera like, man, in Seattle, you just never know when it rains. So you always got to be prepared. And the good thing is, man, I got an umbrella in the Rolls Royce, bro. And that shit went 1 million views.
Damn.
Everybody and their mama was DMing me.
Fuck.
And then that's how we started. And then Loren he ride with me everywhere we go. And I'll be door knocking. I go to an appointment. I go look at how he ride. He just shoot video behind the scene all the time. And we just started making it. And then we started just studying the trend. And then tickets came out. And so today, man, all my platform, we get about probably 50 million views a month.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's fucking powerful,
Crazy,
dude.
bro.
Yeah.
Off iPhone. Me and Loren and iPhone.
Yeah. It's a powerful thing, man. I'm late to the game myself. I just started putting out content seriously 2 years ago. Before that, I was investing in real estate. I had things to say. I had experience. I had an old podcast before this one, but it wasn't until 2 years ago to where I started treating the social media content like a business. And, you treat it like a business and you actually study the algorithms. You actually study your old content, see what does well, see what doesn't do well, double down on the stuff that does well, look at the trends and look at other people that are ahead of you and see what they're doing that works good and see the topics that people actually engage with and actually give a fuck. You can grow pretty quickly.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why I agree with you. I think the people out there's a difference in someone just posting the post and someone's posting to really scale this and make this into an opportunity.
Yes.
And the first year me and Loren were doing this was just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2-3 years down the road, we were like, wow, you know what I mean? And I didn't have nothing to sell back then. I was just posting and just telling people, send me ugly deals.
Mm.
That was it. You know what I mean?
So when did you start educating on social?
About,
Because now you got a lot of value.
Yeah.
You're spitting bars.
and this is what people still don't understand. I was already worth millions. I was already owning nice cars. I was already a multi-millionaire. And then Springboard came to life. My mentorship came to life like 4 years ago, right? But I didn't really start using social media until like 3 years ago to really put it out there and coordinate the stuff I do. And if you want to learn, come see me. You see, so we were just shooting content on things I was just doing just every day, door knocking, buying this ugly house, rehabbing this thing. We were doing real time posting. And 3 years ago, when we started say, hey, this is what I do. This is the color I picked for these doors in this house. This is how I rent it. If you want to learn, come see me. And then that's how. So it's only been 3 years since I've been using it to educate.
Yeah. So how do you treat the content right now? Do you batch your content like, hey, like one day a week you're gonna go out and record, or how do you treat that?
So we have a couple of different things we do. Number one, my brand is about real estate. It's about lifestyle, parenting, mindset, right? And financial literacy.
Okay.
Right? That's my brand. Inside this brand, there's stuff that is more broad, that we make stuff
That everyone can relate to.
everyone can relate to, and it go viral more often. And there's stuff that's more specific that we do that it doesn't go as viral as much.
But it might create more leads for your business.
You got it.
Yeah.
So every Wednesday from 10 to like 2 o'clock, we shoot YouTube long form. So that's every Wednesday. Every Monday from typically 10 to like 3, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we shoot content pretty much majority of the time in between me out looking at real estate. Does that make sense? We don't shoot it like in the studio. We don't shoot it like, we shoot it real time when I'm out in the street. So I'm out looking at, I'm getting ready to go look at this project that I'm working on. Then we have a bunch of stuff and we shoot it. So that's why I know my videos are always outside, never inside.
Do you prep for your videos?
Yes and no. We have ideas, what we want to say on the general. We have idea what we want to say for a more specific topic. And then Loren and I will make up and say, all right, today let's talk about, how to pay down your mortgage faster. Okay, I got it. Right? And so we have 3-4 video of topic like that. And then when we get out, we're looking at my project, he said, hey, let's shoot it right here. So we're in front of the building. And he said, answer this question. And then we'll make the hook. We give out the content. Then we do the call to action. We're off and running.
Yeah. I love that, dude.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned you guys do long form YouTube videos on Wednesdays.
Yes.
And what are you doing? Like 15, 20-minute videos? What are you talking about on those?
And those more diving deep in real estate strategies. So everybody all here talking about, oh, Thach, you talk about how to buy, Burr. Well, break down a deal. And so in the long form, I'll go, you see this property? Right? And I break it down. I pay this much. This is what it costs me to get plan, permits, sewer line, you know what I mean? soft costs. I'll name everything off. And then this is what it costs to build it, hard costs. This is what it costs to finance it. And then this is how much I rent it for. Bum, bum, bum. I break it everything down. So I'm doing a whole video on a breakdown of my 31 unit apartment building from beginning to end. Like that.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that stuff. I always say like there's two types of content out there. It's like you got entertainment and you got education. And I think the entertainment works great for a lot of the folks that have a fan base, like celebrities, movie stars, athletes. They got a fan base. So the entertainment works good. But I feel like for most folks that are like real estate investors that are like trying to start building their brands from nothing, you're going to do it most likely educating. And that's what people are going to follow you. They're going to want to learn something. You got to give them some sort of value. There's attention is so limited right now. And there's so many people putting out content. It's like, you got to give value.
So
and that's how you're going to grow.
I'm going to add to that. You got to find a way to inspire them with the real estate education. If we talk about real estate. And so I say inspire first, followed by education. So inspired mean bring your energy up. Be you. You know what I mean? Be your own personality. If you're trying to be the straight guy with a tie, talk about education. Hello, my name is John, and today's market update is, right?
Yeah.
They will scroll through that fast.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, here's how you pay down a mortgage in 7 years. Let me tell you how. Whoop. All right, and they're stopped. Like, what this guy? So some people might hate it, but I got enough people that love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I feel you.
So you got to inspire people, followed by education. Otherwise, it won't grow.
And I also think it's important to have like a good story. So like your story is like pretty powerful because a lot of people say, I don't have money, I don't have time. But it's like you fucking debunked all that stuff. Your family came over here with $100 in one suitcase and you guys are living off fucking food stamps.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And you fucking created this whole thing for yourself. For me, like, so people can resonate to that. For me, like I was a full-time government employee and I had nothing to my name but a 401k and I cashed out my 401k to get started. And then it led to all this. And so people can resonate with that, right? And so I think it's good to have a story. Storytelling is good. But I love what you said. It's like, be yourself.
Be yourself.
You don't need to fucking put in a suit and tie.
Everybody got a story. And if you can't share your story when you ain't yourself.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good,
Yeah.
dude. What would you say to someone out there that's, maybe getting started in the real estate game? Would you say start doing the content now, or would you say wait till you do a few deals and then go
No.
on the content?
You can start the content now. You don't have to do the deal. You can start sharing things that you're learning, hearing, right? And just create content, right? Matter of fact, if you really create content on just things that you're learning and share that, like it's real, like, be yourself and share. I just today, these are the 3 things I learned about how to pay down your mortgage faster, right? Share that. Don't take the video I made and share it on your post because you're not going to get the same. Take that and then redo it in your own personality, right? And then you create your own followers, right? But start now. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Don't worry. And in that process, you're going to find how to actually be you. And when you be you, then the content just flow. Like I don't script any of my I don't script my long form. I don't script my short form. I just
Really? Even the long form?
even long form. Just
Damn. You just off the top.
bro, it's straight raw.
You have so much
life
experience,
experience.
which is great that you can just script from the top. I usually script from the top too, but I was listening to Alex Ramosi podcast recently, and he was like, dude, like if you want to really, really get to the top, and as far as like a YouTube creator and all that stuff, he's like, some of these people like Mr. Beast, like they fucking prepped for days before they put out a 12-minute video, and he's like, there's levels of the game, and I'm always shooting from the hip. Like these podcast episodes, I just fucking jump in and shoot from the hip. But
you
I was
prepare
like,
though,
fuck,
bro.
maybe I need to start prepping a little bit more.
But this is the difference between preparating, knowing, all right, like it's like a speech, right? Today, talk about consistency,
Yeah.
right? I don't think you can type out a whole script of consistency and you're
No,
going to follow that.
It would take forever.
So that's what I mean. We prepare, just like you prepare.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this topic, this topic, this topic, this topic in the long form.
So you might have some bullet points.
That's it. And then
yeah.
I will
rip on them.
rip on.
Based on experience.
Then you got it.
Yeah.
I speak from experience on the topics and the preparation.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I agree with that with Alex, what he says.
Do you what are your thoughts on the public school system, and do you homeschool your kids?
My kids, I'm fortunate, but it's by design. They go to school in Mercer Island, which is it's like going to school in La Jolla. And you only can go to school there if you live in the area. So the school there are, less people in the classroom. Teacher get paid more money, right? They're more dedicated. Where I grew up in Seattle, there were like, 100 students in the class. You know what I mean? And I think that the Mercer Island School was definitely better than where I came from, for sure. I think that the school, they can learn the basic stuff. Hudson's learning a lot about histories and everything. They can learn all that. But what they really learn about life is when they come home to see me.
Yeah. I love that.
You see what I mean? And in real life situation.
Did your kids' friends come over and they learn from you too?
Bro, they be following half of the damn school at Mercer Island follow me on my social media.
Really?
And then so when they see you, they like, yo, man, can we interview your dad? Yeah, no problem, dude. They all know because my kid played baseball and soccer, and we all know these kids and they're young. So they be DMing me personally. Yo, Dad, this is cool, man. You think I can interview you for my senior project? No problem, dude.
That's funny. So
Yeah.
you like pull up to school and like the other kids will be coming out and being like, hey, can I get a selfie with you?
All the time, dog. All the time. All the time.
That's so funny,
yeah,
dude.
it's crazy. Everywhere I go, that's what happened anyways. You know what I mean? But it's crazy.
Yeah. And you got all the nice cars. So tell me the cars that you have.
I have my it's a 2021 Bentley Flying Spur. And
And that qualifies for code section 179.
That's right.
Yeah.
All my cars are all pimped out. I never ride stocks. You know what I mean? I got my boy Vic, RBD up in LA that did on my car. Here,
What is
right?
that?
It's a shop where they customize it.
Got it.
So that one is all customized. I got that's satin black. My G-Wagon 63 satin black. It's all on rims, every one of them. And then I got my convertible F8 Ferrari. That's all customized satin black. I got my new Lamborghini Urus wide body satin black.
Also qualifies for code section
You got
179.
it, right? I got my Ferrari SF90 Spider. It's the only red car in the collection, right? And then I just bought the new Rolls-Royce Spectra, the electric. And that's at the shop in LA right now, and it just got modified just now. So
And does that one qualify for code section 179?
it's up there.
I love it. So what is that, like 6-7 cars?
6 cars.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
And which one's your favorite out of those to drive?
My Bentley Flying Spur.
Why?
It's comfortable. It's easy. It's in and out. And then my second one is probably my Lamborghini Urus. My Ferrari, they're fun, but they're super low to the ground. You can't ride anywhere because you always got to shift gears. You got to watch out for speed bumps.
Which one gets the most attention when you drive it around the town?
I would say my red SF90.
Really?
Yeah, that car is like, that car
Just rips.
That's the eye catcher.
Yeah.
And then my wide body Urus it's crazy looking. You know what I mean?
And you hand wash all your cars yourself?
Sometimes I do, bro, just for meditation, right? But most of the time I let the detailer do it. But I do it because I love cars. A lot of people are like, oh man, you know what? He spent his money. No, I do it for 2 reasons. One, before I was even had any money, I was already building bikes, buying used Hondas, building them out, you know what I mean? Today, I love cars, and then I put all my cars in the video, and all my cars become write-off. That's part of one of the reasons. It's the eye catcher for the video.
Yeah, you get more views with
You get more views with the car.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I write them off because they're part of my business expense.
Yeah. I got to start doing more content with my cars. So I got a Audi R8 and a G-Wagon. And I really want, next car, I want a Lamborghini STO, the Huracan STO.
Yes, sir.
And I'm in fast lane drive. And so I get to, go rip around and do some of these rallies, which is kind of cool. But I got to start putting the cars more in the
Yes,
content. I think it's a
sir.
good
Yes,
idea.
sir.
So last question for you, man. What do you say to the folks out there that are maybe listening to this that say, I'd love to get in real estate investing. It must be nice, but I just don't have the time. I got kids, family, I got all these other obligations. I just don't have the time.
I would say to them, this is what I ask a lot of my newer students when they come join, is at what age do you want to have the option to work or not work? Nobody really think that far. At what age do you want to work or not work, to have the option to work or not work? Because if you don't invest in real estate, you don't have an option. You got to keep running on this treadmill until you're old and die. I love what Warren Buffett says. If you don't find a way to make money while you're asleep, you're going to work until you die. Okay? So I ask my student when they come in, at what age do you want to have the option to work or not work? And then they think about it. And I say, what does it cost you to live now? They said 15 grand. Then I say to them, okay, what's your average rent in your area? Let's say it's 3,000. You need 5 doors bought and paid off. And you can have enough passive income to pay for your personal expense. And after that, everything else is bonus.
Yeah.
So what if you can get 5 rental property bought and paid off? And you be out of the rat race. You don't actually have to run on a treadmill. If you want to get off the treadmill and take a break for a year, you have the option. But if you want option and freedom of choices, you got to find some way to make money while you're asleep. And real estate investing is one of the, in my thing is, you have tax write-off.
Yeah.
Someone paying down your mortgage. You have appreciation. You have cash flow. I mean, goddamn. And you have leverage. You put down 5 to 20%, but you have a property that's worth, you know what I mean, $700,000. Own 5 of those. You're set for life in the next generation. So
The bank puts up the money, you get to keep all the profit.
that's it. And so I want to say to everybody this. You don't need 20 door, 30 door, 100 door, or 1,000 door to be wealthy. All you need is 5 good rental paid off, and you're set for life. Don't let everybody tell you out there on social media or go to a seminar, you see people on stage own 10, 20, 30, 40, 1,000 door. You don't need all that shit. All you need is 5 good rental properties bought and paid off, and you're set for life. Because only less than 1% of people own real estate in America. You could be 1%, just owning 5 property, and you're set for life, and your next generation is set for life. Keep it simple, baby.
If you want to be in the 1%, don't do what the 99% are doing.
Amen, baby. Give it up to Rich, baby. Let's do it.
Mic drop. There it is, my man. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming down, taking the time, dude. And maybe next time we connect this up in Seattle, where can the listeners get in touch with you?
They can follow my Instagram. It's Thach Nguyen. On Instagram, YouTube is Thach Nguyen. TikTok is basically Thach Nguyen. Everything is Thach Nguyen.
There it is. He's Thach Nguyen. I'm Rich Summers. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.